fact, the surveillance footage we reviewed shows that famous clip was a sham, edited deceptively by the January 6th committee. The clip was propaganda, not evidence. The actual videotape shows that Hawley was one of many lawmakers being ushered out of the building by Capitol Hill police officers. And in fact, Hawley was at the back of the pack. The coward tape was a lie, one of many from the January 6th committee.
That is one of the most amazing attempts at propaganda that I think I've ever seen on American corporate media. So the coward tape is the tape that was played during the January 6th hearings of Josh Hawley running as fast as he can to get away from the mob that had attacked the Capitol. And that apparently hurt Tucker's feelings because he has to try to refute it. And he does that by just saying it was a lie over and over and over again. But I would ask you a question. Is that what he actually proved? Is that what he demonstrated? First of all, he says it's a lie because it wasn't just Hawley running away, it was a lot of lawmakers running away. Let me ask you a question. When it was presented before the January 6th committee, did anyone say or even imply that this should be embarrassing for Hawley because he's the only person that's running away? Nobody said that. We said that Hawley, who was all fist in the air, super strong beforehand, was running for his life. He still was running for his life. And I love that Tucker thinks that because he was at the back of the pack, he's pitching that as he's brave because he's taking up the rear. Dude was slower than the rest of the people running. I don't find that to be impressive or laudable at that point. And let me also say that if your overall point, which it is for Tucker, is that none of them should have been afraid, you're undercutting your point a little bit when you point out that not only was Josh Hawley afraid, but all of them were running for their life from the people who were apparently just taking selfies and all of that. So again, what he actually shows in this video does not prove his thesis at all. The issue is that he's showing it to his audience who just desperately wants to believe that simultaneously nothing bad was happening, but I guess also I need to believe that all of them were running away, but Hawley was last, so I guess he's brave, even though he was, again, running from the vicious mob that was calling for their blood. So again, Imara, for his audience, there's a lot of mental gymnastics that need to be done for this, but I'm sure that they will, in the end, agree with Tucker that the video, which again shows him running for his life, was somehow a lie.
Yeah, I mean, they'll believe whatever they want to believe, right? And he knows what his audience wants to believe, and he's going to give it to them. I mean, I personally though was impressed with Josh Hawley's running form. I thought it was quite good. I don't know. Do we know is he an athlete or something? I was like, his back is straight. It's like, legs are out in front of him in a good stride. Yeah, I mean,
it was the core tight.
Quite impressive. Quite impressive.
100%. So here's where things are gonna turn a little bit dark. We had a little bit of fun with the coward video and everything, but that very meek mob of tourists, okay, they revere the Capitol. They're not doing anything bad, despite him repeatedly showing the footage of them doing really bad things. Can I throw out a few inconvenient facts about that, as Imara has said, a bridge group of your grandmas who are just trying to take photos with the paintings and all that? Does anyone remember 4 people in the crowd died? Those very meek, orderly tourists, 4 people died. And I'm gonna point this out in case maybe you haven't been on these tours before or whatever. That's not normally what happens when you tour the Capitol, that 4 people die in the crowd. And by the way, only one of them, Ashley Babbitt, was shot by a Capitol police officer as they were trying to break through the barricade to get to. There are security officers with drawn guns, and the crowd is so bloodthirsty that they're trying to get at the people pointing guns at them. Again, very, very meek people. Kevin Grierson died of a heart attack. Roseanne Boyland appeared to have been crushed in a stampede of fellow meek rioters. Benjamin Phillips died of a stroke. He was the founder of a pro-Trump website called Trumparoo, but everything was so meek and orderly that people were having strokes and heart attacks all over the place. Of course, you also have 5 police officers who died in the weeks and months following it. Brian Sicknick was attacked by the mob. He died. Jeffrey Smith killed himself after the attack because it was so traumatic what he went through. Howard Liebengood as well. 150 police officers, who Republicans occasionally like to pretend that they back in some fashion, were injured, had to be hospitalized. Hundreds of workers at the Capitol were also attacked or traumatized by the mob. The mob who was just, they were just tourists. They were just meek tourists queuing up for selfies and maybe beating into the hospital dozens and dozens of cops. Again, Imara, we've talked about their willingness to believe what they want to believe, but they would say, if you ask them, do you back cops? They'd say, of course I back cops. And I will conveniently ignore the deaths of these cops, the deaths of these protesters, the hospitalizations of the workers and cops, if that's what it takes to believe that January 6th wasn't a big deal.
Well, they only support the cops that they believe are on their side. So, I mean, and the cops who are on their side, they don't believe. So, again, it's everything that we're talking about. Again, at least they're consistent. At least they're consistent.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.